Up next on Art Rocks, Baton Rouge's brave new venture theatre and the man behind the curtain.
We started off as a little troupe at the Dr. Martin Luther King Community Center. We were so dedicated to developing this for this community, by this community, that we weren't willing to take no for an answer.
New Orleans chef and culinary adventurer Phillip Lopez delivers dishes inspired by acclaimed contemporary artist Jacqueline Bishop. And really big bugs invade an Ohio park. That's all about to happen on Art Rocks.
Like the impulse that drives an artist's creativity, Georgia Pacific's 850 Louisiana employees are driven to produce quality paper products for your home and business. Georgia Pacific is proud to support LPB and Art Rocks.
And by Lamar Advertising Company, proud to support the arts and Art Rocks. Headquartered in Baton Rouge, Lamar's 461 Louisiana employees have been helping brands and businesses reach their customers creatively for over 100 years.
Art Rocks is made possible by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting and by viewers like you.
Hello, art lover, and welcome to Art Rocks with me, James Fox Smith, publisher of Country Roads magazine. When it comes to live theatre, Baton Rouge audiences are spoiled for choice. Amongst the capital city's professional, college and community dramatic groups, one really stands out. New Venture Theatre, the predominantly black company that's been bringing high-quality shows to Baton Rouge stages for a decade now, is largely the brainchild and labour of love of one man. New Venture Theatre sells out shows, one after another, with productions like The Wiz, Dreamgirls, Lady Day, and The Lion King Jr. While the company is now producing one hit after another, its origins were very humble.
I was like 13, 14 years old. We started off as a little troupe at the Dr. Martin Luther King Community Center. And it was just a group of us that loved the arts. And we really didn't even know what we were doing. I remember we all went to go see a show at Playmakers. And it was like, we want to do that. And we didn't know what that was, but we came back and we brought it to Eden Park, and we were just there trying to figure it all out. I had people holding flashlights for our theatrical lights because we had no budget. We were doing pretty big shows like Little Shop of Horrors for kids. We were so dedicated to developing this for this community, by this community, that we weren't willing to take no for an answer. After about 4 years of doing it, I said, I really need to train myself and understand the full spectrum of the theater world. So went and got my degree, undergrad in theater. As soon as I finished in undergrad, I was touring with a theater company while getting my master's at the same time. And throughout that process, I started to understand the business of theater and how to sell the art. I started doing some volunteer work at the Negro Ensemble Theater Company in New York. And I was talking to Charles Walden. I had typed up this huge proposal for an African-American theater company called New Venture Theatre. And I showed him the proposal, and he looked at it and he was like, Greg, what is this? Well, I don't necessarily see my story. I'm always in all of these plays, in all of these productions, but I'm never able to really tell the people who I know, who are my aunts, uncles, black friends and black stories. And also when I am asked to step in a role, I'm asked to be a slave. And I say our narrative is so much more than that. And so I want a theater company that has a platform to tell all of these new stories. Who are we today? Who we used to be? Who will we be in the future? And I didn't see that anywhere. He looked at it, he looked at me, he said, do it. I was like, what? He's like, you need to go and do this. Charles Weldon was the artistic director for the Negro Ensemble Theater Company. It's the first African-American theater company created in North America. And it still exists today. Esther Wall got her start there. Lynn Whitfield got her start there. Samuel Jackson, amazing, amazing artists. When I first started, we had 32 people who came to our first show. And I remember going to my parents with my hands in my hands. I was like, I don't know what I have done. And it took both of them to keep pushing me. And throughout the years, we've had ups and downs, as any arts organization has had, but it's taken both of them who have constantly pushed me through every obstacle. And it was just such a beautiful thing to celebrate 10 years. It flew by. But then I looked at the thousands of artists that I've worked with.
Working with Greg is fun. He teach you more than directing you. Like, he'll teach you how to do this, how to do that, and then he always give you that push as saying, I know you can give me more. Like, don't be scared. Just give it to me.
Well, you know you're high when your throat gets dry and everything is fine and dandy.
One of my favorite musicals was Ain't Miss Behavin'. It was a Fats Wallace musical, and it was very high-paced. I've never in my life had to sing and dance at the same exact time.
So far, my favorite production has to be The Color Purple.
Less time I spend looking at these white folks, the better I feel.
It was the first show that I produced that I was extremely nervous about because of the size. And it was the first show I really got local celebrity talent to be a part of it. So it was about managing this huge monster and these big personalities, but we were able to pull it off and sold out 3 weeks of shows, and I was really proud. One of the most challenging shows I worked on was Dreamgirls.
Baby, please.
Dreamgirls is a mathematical equation. It's a show that you have to direct with the idea you have 4 seconds to change a costume, change a wig. And so you can't really just jump into it with this artistic eye of what you want it to be. It has to be certain things. In addition to that, it's a show written by white people who did not know the challenges of the black voice. It's almost impossible to sing 6 days a week. I was really extremely proud with our production, The Lion King. We had 54 kids, and I would probably say 20 of those kids have never done a show before. Every now and then you have this show where everybody comes into sync. And that is one of those experiences where every single person, crew, volunteer, artist, everybody was in sync. And the show was phenomenal because of that reason.
It was exciting because I liked The Lion King, but it was even more exciting because I got to work with New Venture. They're known for big productions. I'm a shy person, I don't really talk a lot. And to be on stage in front of hundreds and hundreds of people, it's really boosted my confidence a lot.
When I see little black boys, little black girls on the stage, I see the struggle that I felt, and I didn't know where to go. And I remember how frustrating that was. Because I had all of this talent, I had all of this stuff I wanted to develop, but I had nowhere to go to really do it. A lot of people have asked me, where do they see me 10 years from now? I see myself here, and I see New Venture having its own facility. And I truly believe in my heart that one day somebody will step up and they will say, you know, it's time that you have your own venue, and will help us to get there. I know what my purpose is, and this is my purpose.
Now what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me.
Greg says that he is proud that folks from all backgrounds and walks of life are coming to see New Venture, both for roles in productions and to watch performances. Next, Greg would like to stage productions exploring the unique challenges facing Hispanics and gay men and women in our society. To learn more about New Venture's upcoming productions, visit newventuretheatre.org. Now, I hope you're hungry because it's time for the third course in our newest series, The Art of Food. Last time, Chef Phillip Lopez visited the studio of renowned Louisiana landscape artist Jacqueline Bishop to learn about her artistic vision and the techniques and materials she uses to express it. Today, Jacqueline and Phillip reconvene in the kitchen at Restaurant Route to explore how a master chef uses cuisine to evoke memory and connect us to a sense of place using food as the medium and the plate as a palette.
Hey Jacqueline.
Hey Chef.
How are you?
I'm great.
Welcome.
Thank you. I really look forward to seeing what you're going to do today.
We're going to have some fun. Check out this kitchen, huh?
It's so beautiful.
Come.
Such a good working space and chic.
We're going to jump right in. We're not even going to waste any time.
I'm ready.
Awesome.
Great. Oh, look at this beautiful layout you have already started.
Well, this is just simple stuff. We're going to go through a process of making popcorn. But we're going to make popcorn and then we're just going to overcook it. Why do you ask that?
Yes. Why are you going to overcook popcorn?
Because I want to destroy something and bring it back to life. I mean, I think this whole process of your artwork has really inspired because you find things from across the globe essentially that people have left or been discarded, and you use it as artwork. And I was telling the story that I was getting ready to watch a movie and was popping popcorn, and I left the stove on too high, and you started to smell the burnt popcorn, and I was like, oh no. But instead of throwing it away, I was like, maybe I can turn this into something that can create a completely different dish, bring something back to life, is really what it's all about. And so we have this heirloom grain popcorn, dried popcorn, and then we have some, this is Mississippi Delta Queen.
Oh,
and so we wanted to make a stock from all this and cook the burnt popcorn. And then while that's cooking and popping and overcooking and burning, right, we want to kind of char these to get a little flavor out of them. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to put it all together in another pot with some water and create a burnt popcorn kind of like stock, which will then we can mill into grits. So burnt popcorn grits, believe it or not. I want to take this corn and we're going to char it. A little oil. And so we have this tool in the kitchen that we use, and we use it a lot because it's come in handy. It's called a searzall. But it also gives you a very fast, direct heat. Cut this into small pieces, and we're going to cook that burnt popcorn into a stock. Garlic. Mm-hmm. This is heirloom garlic, which we just smash, and we want to almost do the same thing. And just so that's going to go into the pot. Mm-hmm. And we're still continuing to burn the popcorn. And so, like I said, Jacqueline, the whole thing about this is about being inspired by your artwork, seeing the colors, the flavors that I taste in my mouth when I see your artwork. So we then now add it to the pot. And so now what we want to do is create a charred popcorn stock, right? So we have the charred corn in there, we have the garlic, we have the burnt popcorn, and this is going to cook and cook and cook. And we want the popcorn to soften up, okay? And so when that happens, we then remove the water, and then we're just going to rice it just like a handheld food mill, and we're going to extract the stewed kernels of the corn. That creates somewhat of a grit texture, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for cooked grits, because this is going to become a charred popcorn shrimp and grit dish, right? So Louisiana all the way. So Jacqueline, this here is the actual burnt popcorn grits. So after they've been cooked in a pot for a day and a half, they kind of stew down. We then rice them. The grits that comes out is this right here. And so basically we just throw them in a pot, add a little bit of water to them, and then we're gonna season them. And then so this is the beginning of our shrimp and grits with burnt popcorn miso grits. We have our Louisiana shrimp here. This is just a few piquillo peppers, so some red bell peppers that we roasted over an open flame. Then we take the skin off, and then we dice. We have some Jacob's andouille in there, a little bit of garlic, some chopped garlic, some chopped shallots. These are some heirloom local tomatoes from Tangipahoa Parish. We have some fennel pollen. This is some Creole spice that we make in-house. So this right here now, we're gonna add this miso butterscotch to. We're gonna season it with just a few things other than the miso butterscotch. We're gonna add a little bit of this Creole spice to this. We're gonna add a little bit of this fennel pollen. And then we're gonna add some local honey as well. So as this is slowly cooking, we're gonna start now the actual shrimp and grits. And a little bit of butter, always. And I always use a pinch of oil too. So we're gonna let this pan heat up. And while we're doing that, we're gonna take the shrimp itself and season with Creole spice. So we want that butter to caramelize just slightly and brown, and that's the perfect time to add the shrimp.
Those are beautiful.
So the pan is hot enough to where you're not gonna overcook the shrimp. You really just wanna caramelize the spice, as you can see there. So now once we flip the shrimp over, we're gonna add Louisiana tomatoes, heirloom, a little bit of fresh thyme, and then this is that shrimp stock. We're gonna add just a pinch more Creole spice, a little bit of fennel pollen, and then we're gonna just add a little bit of butter to it. So this is pretty much done. We turn the pan off because you don't want to overcook the shrimp. So now we need to finish this dish, right? So this is the popcorn, the burnt popcorn miso grits. And then here we have these beautiful shrimp, right? I think you and I are going to be fighting over this dish here in a second. And I love how the heirloom tomatoes stay intact. We're just going to do a few rasps of orange zest. And there you have it, Jacqueline. Burnt popcorn miso grits, Louisiana shrimp, some charred chanterelle mushrooms, and a little bit of orange zest on top.
An edible Louisiana landscape. Edible poetry.
That's right. I think there's no better way to try out my artwork inspired by your artwork, right? Than to just dive right in. So wherever you want, Jacqueline. The tomatoes give it a beautiful sweetness to the dish. So you have that sweet, the spiciness in the shrimp from the Creole spice, the nuttiness from the grits, smokiness from the chanterelle mushrooms.
There's so much going on in it. I mean,
everything
so
plays.
much going on in one bite, and you just can't take another bite immediately. You have to wait for it to work.
No other medium is more evocative of memory and place than an unforgettable meal, and the act of sitting down to share it is an experience to which all of us can relate. So please join Chef Phillip, artist Jacqueline Bishop, and me, James Fox Smith, for the first ever Art of Food dinner, when Chef Phillip will prepare 4 courses interpreting Jacqueline's artworks on Sunday, October 22nd at LPB's Baton Rouge studios. Tickets are $125 and sales benefit the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Visit lpb.org to reserve yours now. We hope we'll see you there. Now, plenty of other opportunities to connect with the arts here in Louisiana, so here's a list of some cool exhibits, festivals, concerts, trips and tours coming up around the state. To learn more about these and other events in Louisiana, keep your eyes peeled for a copy of Country Roads magazine. And while we're at it, LPB's Art Rocks website features an archive of previous episodes, so to see any episode again, just log on to lpb.org. Really big bugs are taking over the Franklin Park Conservatory in Columbus, Ohio. Crafted from wood and other natural materials, these 10 enormous insect sculptures are the work of artist David Rogers. Take a closer look.
The praying mantis weighs close to 1,200 pounds. The ants behind me is close to 700 pounds overall weight. So the Big Bugs exhibit has, I think we have 12 sculptures in total here. And the sculpture exhibit is comprised of different subjects from the insect and arachnid world. And they're all made out of trees. They're super large scale, and they're made out of trees, different techniques. The praying mantis body by itself is 15 feet long. I'd been working many years ago making rustic furniture. I was visiting a cousin's property in Vermont, and behind his house in a large open field was a bent-over maple sapling that had been ravaged by a previous winter's ice storm. And I said to him, "Wow, doesn't that look like a backbone to a dinosaur?" And that was my first big branch sculpture, and it changed everything. It was a big, it was like an epiphany, because I realized I've been working and being creative with branches and trees and saplings and constructing things, but it was all about form and function. So the Big Bug sculptures are, they're all made out of trees, different trees, different techniques. There's only 4 basic woods. There's black locust, black walnut, and red cedar. Those are the hardwoods that I use, that I actually carve. And then one of the other main materials in the exhibit are willow saplings, which are individual trees growing out of the ground, which I go out and harvest myself. So I have the ants or willow, the spiderweb is fabricated from willow, and then all the details on the dragonfly and damselfly wings is also willow. Because the willow is so perishable, and because it doesn't last very long, only 2 to 3 years is about right, I've made in my career over the 22 years of Big Bugs 44 ants, which is 44 heads and 44 thoraxes and 44 abdomens. And then who can do 6 times 44 in their head really quick gets the door prize. I can't, but it's hundreds. Because it was a botanic garden and I was thinking about subject matter, and I started thinking of the insect world and the incredible, more important role that they play in the garden. And I started referring to them as and still do, as the hidden gardeners. And I didn't want anything to look creepy, but I also didn't want anything to look cartoonish. But somehow I found that middle ground without really trying to, that they're not menacing. There's the playfulness is just there. To take these little tiny, seemingly insignificant animals and then put them on this huge scale, this big role reversal thing happens. Because the show travels to all botanical and arboretums around the country, and because all of those institutions have a very vital mission statement, and they want to create a place for people to come and to just enjoy the beauty of nature, but also understand how important it is to preserve it and protect it and to nurture it and be good stewards. And somehow that I get to play some small role in that mission, which is an amazing experience.
Now we're off to Pennsylvania to meet a woman with a love of jewellery and a talent for metalsmithing. Jera Rose Petal Lodge bends steel and silver to create sculptural, wearable pieces of art.
This piece is one of my larger pieces of jewelry, and sort of the main concept for it is to have this piece of jewelry that can live as both jewelry or sculpture. I would say most of what I make falls into sort of contemporary art jewelry or studio jewelry. And I know that format can be a little intimidating because it doesn't look like what a lot of people consider to be jewelry. So I think it's really wonderful to help broaden what people's definition of jewelry is. My name is Jera Rose Petal Lodge, and I am a metalsmith and a jewelry designer. Jewelry and metal go hand in hand. They have a long tradition together. I'm really inspired by the process. Usually there's a little bit of soldering, and then I'll go through cleanup stages, which is a mild acid that cleans off the oxides from soldering. And then from there, I will apply color using spray paint or traditional chemical patinas. So often our jewelry, when we wear it during the day and then when we take it off, it goes in a jewelry box, or it gets put on the counter in our bathroom, and then we don't look at it again until we put it on the next time. And with a piece like this, and I feel like also with my smaller pieces, it gives you the opportunity to have a piece of jewelry that you continue to interact with even when you're not wearing it. When I see people come into my studio and something catches their eye and they immediately, they know they can pick it up. It's meant to be interacted with, it's meant to be worn, and so they pick it up and they put it on. And watching somebody, develop that personal connection with and fall in love with that piece of jewelry, that's what happens with the small daily pieces, and that's just the best part.
And that'll do it for this edition of Art Rocks. But remember, art lover, you can always watch episodes of our show at lpb.org/artrocks. And if that's not enough for you, Country Roads Magazine is a great resource for enriching your cultural life with art, cuisine, escapes and events all around the state. So until next week, I'm James Fox Smith, and thanks for watching.